When you know how to read, life can be a whole lot richer.
1 week from tonight.
I want you very much, Susan, and I'm going to have you...
Stop it!
Susan's the target.
Talk to Susan. Susan.
On Spencer for Hire. Then, Al Pacino's unforgettable performance.
Say hello to my little friend!
Michelle Pfeiffer, Al Pacino, Scarface. Parental discretion advised. After Spencer for Hire in 1 week.
Scarface. And coming up on the Eyewitness News Update, we celebrate the Minnesota Twins, the winning Twins, after game number 2 of the World Series. I'm Stan Turner, along with Ruth Spencer.
And stand by for live interviews with tonight's star players, plus highlights from this exciting game at the Dome.
I'm Angela Storr, along with Mark Sapelsa. Also ahead on the update, we'll tell you what doctors are saying about Nancy Reagan's condition the day after an operation to remove a cancerous tumor.
And if you've heard just about all you can stand about the Twins, don't miss our look at what the non-Twins fan does on a night like tonight. Join us next for those stories and more, all coming up next on the Eyewitness News Update.
Ted Varick. He likes the speed. He likes the danger.
I only steal Porsches.
Charlie Sheen.
Good turn, Bill.
D.B. Sweeney.
I'm gonna partner you with the best gang I got. You're the expert.
Oh! Ted, he's a cop.
Tell me something I don't know.
Crossing the line into no man's land.
Showtime, folks.
No Man's Land. Rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you. Check your newspaper.
A reminder to America, it's not just men who farm our land, but also more than 1 million farm women who work as their partners to make America's food system one of the most productive on earth. That's something we shouldn't take for granted. Brought to you on behalf of America's farmers by the makers of Dual Herbicide.
To the thousands of companies who make it their business to compete, we make it our business to provide communication services that give them a competitive advantage. We are U.S. West and Northwestern Bell. Nobody knows the trails better.
91 Bravo, proceeding on rescue training mission.
1 weekend a month, you can take off for the beach, the mountains, or a drive in the country in the Army Reserve.
Subject spotted.
Be all that you can be.
It's no picnic, but it's the kind of excitement no other weekend offers.
Mission completed. We're heading home.
And you'll still have 3 weekends a month to take off on your own.
Find your future in the Army Reserve.
This is your World Series station, 5. Live from Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5. Stan Turner, Ruth Spencer, Dave Dahl, and Mark Curtis bring you the Eyewitness News Update.
Minnesota Twins fans are leaving the Dome tonight after another big victory over the Cardinals. The Twins are 2-up over the Cards and on their way to St. Louis now to pull the winning edge over those Redbirds in the World Series 1987. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight as we celebrate our Twins here at the Metrodome.
Whoopee! It's been another night, big night to remember. All the Twins seem to be getting in on the act. Everybody wants in on the act. And get set, because hang on to your seats. We have lots more exciting things for you tonight. Coming up, we'll go live outside the Dome, where we'll hear about the fans who are here but never get to see the game in person. And what a wild night it's been for the pizza business in town. We'll check in at a local pizzeria where they're making pizzas like hotcakes. And if you've experienced the noise of fans cheering in the Dome in person, you won't want to miss our look at whether it's healthy to get hoarse. Wave your arms all about and be in the midst of all this hoopla. Wow.
But first things first, let's go down on the field now live to Mark Curtis, who has highlights of this blockbuster game. Mark?
I'll tell you what, this reminds me a lot of the LCS. They're 2-0 now, heading to the other city. The big play, the play that really broke it open, I think, was in the bottom of the fourth. 1 out, bases loaded. Randy Bush, the DH, sends a shot to right to score Herbeck and Puckett. The first 2 runs of what turned out to be a 6-run fourth. Twins were on their way, and it finished 8-4. Right now, Mike Smithson is standing by with another guy who had a great night, Timmy Laudner.
You had a great game tonight. Can you tell us what's going on in the first 2 games? Frank and Bert tonight pitched great games. Can you tell us what they were doing?
Well, we want to go out and make sure that our guys pitch their game. Not worry so much about St. Louis, the way their guys hit, or they're worried about their speed. We want to make sure that Frankie went in there with a good fastball, good changeup. And tonight we want to make sure that Bert went out there with good fastball, good curveball, and they established it early and went with it.
I think the control has been a big key. They've kept the walks to a minimum, and that's one of the big reasons why the St. Louis Cardinals have been out of the running game.
They have. They've been around the plate, throwing strikes, and you can't ask for any more than that.
Tim, I've really been impressed with your hitting. Early in the year, it looked like you're trying to pull a ball tonight. Last night, a big clutch hit. Tonight, you took the ball to right field, and you took the ball over the center field fence. What kind of pitch did you hit?
Hit a fastball for the home run, and hit a fastball in the hole for the other base hit with a couple of RBIs. And I want to go up there and try to see the ball and put the bat on it. I don't want to try and do too much. Feel a little bit more relaxed at the plate. I'm not really worried about what I did during the season. This is a whole new season right here, and everybody's contributing, and hitting's contagious, and you know what happens when hitting's contagious.
Tim, thanks a lot. A great game. I know you want to get in the clubhouse, have a beer. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, we're going to get to another star of the game in just a second, but right now let's throw it upstairs to Rob Lear, who's standing by with another player.
Outside the Twins clubhouse, Mark, we're standing with Tom Bernansky. And Tom, you guys are halfway home to a world championship.
Well, I'll tell you what, we keep saying it over and over again. It's just a one game at a time philosophy, and we're just going to go enjoy the day off tomorrow, level out a little bit and going to St. Louis. It's going to be a new experience for a lot of us. We've never played in that stadium, and we're just going to come out and have to play as hard as we have the last 2 days.
Offensively, the bats are just red hot. I mean, everybody is contributing. Everybody seems to be hitting the ball in places that the Cardinals are not.
Well, I'll tell you, we faced 2 tough pitchers, and both stars are coming out, and we've just been hitting the ball solid 1 through 9. And when you get that kind of offensive firepower, we're going to score a lot of runs like we have the last 2 days.
Congratulations again on your efforts.
All right, thanks, Rob.
Let's go down to Mark.
All right, thanks very much. What I want to know is, what is it about that 4th inning?
Well, the only thing I could say is we're facing some pitchers we've never seen before, and this is a very confident offensive ball club.
Here's your base hit.
Okay, well, we go out the first 2 or 3 innings, and the guy shuts us down both nights. We come out in the second time around. We said we're going to get these guys the second time around because now we've seen what they got, and that's just a good, confident ball club that thinks that way, and it worked out for us.
Okay, now, Randy Bush, tell me about this slide coming up.
Well, I knew the ball was going to beat me there. I could tell he was setting up to catch it, and I just said, I'm going back door. There's no way I'm going into this guy because I'm a dead duck, and I just hope he leaves the back door open, and I snuck in there.
This has got to feel so good because I know that you and Timmy Laudner are best buddies. He said roommate when it came up.
Yeah, we've been roommates. We've been roommates in the big leagues for 5 years now, and I couldn't be any happier for the night Tim had, and I'm sure he feels the same way. As we've talked about this for 5 years. We've talked about playing in the World Series, and now it's happening, and these fans are outstanding. It's absolutely electric out there on the field, and it's just unbelievable.
Different situation, but you guys head to the next city now, up 2-0, just like with the Tigers.
Exactly the situation we wanted to be in. Let's face it, the pressure's on them now. They've got to win a game right off the bat there, and they're going to be up for it. I mean, let's face it, these guys have been in the World Series every other year. You're not in the World Series unless you play the Cardinals, for crying out loud. So they're going to be ready, and we're going to be ready, and we're going to go out and go after them.
Randy, thanks so much for joining us. Let's go back upstairs outside the Twins clubhouse where Rob Lear is standing by.
And Mark, no one's smiling any bigger than Calvin Griffith. Twins up 2-0 in this World Series. It's got to be a gratifying thought for you.
Well, I tell you, Ron, it is just a great feeling. Is right. The seems coming back to 1965. We won our first 2 games here, but this ball club hadn't played in the Cardinal ballpark, so I'm sure we'll go there and we'll win some ball games in St. Louis.
To share in this success, this has got to be a special feeling for yourself.
It is special because most of the boys came through our farm system, and what we put on the field are coming now to be champions, like I said they would be 3 or 4 years ago.
And nobody given this franchise much of a chance, always the underdog. Is this a chance to prove some of those experts across the country wrong?
That's right. Those experts can be criticized, too, for thinking wrong. And this ball club here is going to fool the whole world because we're the underdogs, and now we're going to be the kings.
4 games, is that all this series is going to take?
Well, let's hope we go 5.
All right. Calvin Griffith, thank you. Congratulations. Mark Curtis.
Very much, Rob Lear. Mike Smithson. You don't want to look a great situation in the mouth, as they say, but 2-0 going back. These 2 games have been relatively easy. I think much easier than anyone expected. Is there a danger in that?
Well, without a doubt, there could be a little danger, but I don't think this Twins ball club is going to let that happen. I think in their mind, they're still the underdog in this series, and they did exactly what they had to do again tonight. I hate to be redundant, but they took the Cardinals right out of their offense by scoring runs early. And when they can't run, that's a big part of their offense, and they went right out and did what they had to do again tonight.
All right, you know Tom Kelly very, very well. What's he going to say to those guys in the clubhouse tonight?
Well, he's not going to let them get too high. We got to go to St. Louis. It's going to be an entirely different atmosphere. We're going to go in and we're going to see a sea red when we go into St. Louis. So the guys know what's going to happen. I think the big stride for us was getting past the Detroit series. Now, we're playing so confident now. You could just see it in the guys' faces tonight. They came out tonight, and like Bushy said, first time around, they were just getting a look at the guy. Then when they come up the second time, they really put the offense on him.
All right, Smitty, stand by just a second. Let's go back upstairs now outside the Twins clubhouse once again. Rob Lear and Kirby Puckett.
Mark, the Twins, again, they continue to put up runs on the board, and Kirby Puckett has been in the middle of this. And what's this feeling been like for yourself?
Well, it's been great, Rob. You know, I can't really explain it, but the team is pitching. You know, got a great starting pitching again from Burke today, and Juan came in and did his best, did a good job, and then we had Reardon to come in and close everything up for us. But you know, it's been that way all year, and it's been a different guy every day and all year long, and that's the way we played it today.
You had the big throw in the 7th to end the inning there to kind of take the Cards out of it when it looked like perhaps they were going to be mounting a charge. It's those defensive plays that have been the sharp points of this club all season as well.
Well, Rob, in that situation, they had the guy forward on second base with 2 outs, and I knew I wasn't going to throw him out regardless of the hit. And on that type of ball that was hit to me, it was kind of like a blooper-like. And when I fielded it, I was trying to get to it as fast as I could, and I saw Kendall around the second going to third. I said, well, I got a chance of him at third, and I threw it to third, and was fortunate to throw right to Rat.
It's one thing to be in a World Series and to play in one. Another thing when you figure and find that you're just 2 victories shy of a World Championship. Is all this sinking in?
Well, it's sinking in, but it's not over yet, Rob. Anything can happen, and people know that, and we're just going to take it 1 game at a time like we've been doing all year and just see what happens.
This crowd, again, has certainly been rising to the occasion.
Well, the crowd's been great. They've been there for us all year, man, and nothing's changed. They've been behind us all the way, and I just hope we can bring them a championship.
All right, Kirby, thank you for joining us.
Right.
Mark Curtis, let's go down to the field.
All right, thanks again, Rob. And Mike Smith and Kirby makes a good point. You know, they put 8 runs up on the board. They put 10 runs up on the board. People have overlooked the fact that this Twins team can play defense.
Well, they've been the best defensive team in the American League all year. I think most of the opposing managers will tell you that. When you can catch a ball and you put the ball in play, as the pitcher's been doing in this series, good things are going to happen. And like I said, I can't express enough how much the runs early mean when you take the Cardinals out of their offense like that. And this was a big win tonight. I know personally because it's going to take a little pressure off Les. If we'd have split this series and went 1-1, then there's going to be a lot of pressure on the young guy to go out there Tuesday night and pitch a good game. Now he can just go out and be nice and relaxed. And I think you're going to see a good performance from him. He's got the jitters out of the way in the Detroit series. I think he's going to do a good job Tuesday night.
All right, Mike, stand by with us. We'll be coming back down here. A little more analysis as Game 3 approaches. But right now, let's go back upstairs to Stan and Ruth.
Hey, Mark, you know that 4th inning you were talking about? I've got an edit on the Star Wars script. How about may the 4th be with you?
The 4th be with you.
That's our new Twin slogan.
I think Whitey Herzog is going to petition the league to go directly from the 3rd to the 5th innings from now on. Heck with the 4th, huh?
I said you will.
Once again, the pandemonium from this stadium is spilling out into the streets of downtown Minneapolis, and if you've never seen pandemonium spill before, you haven't seen anything. Mike Binkley is out there among them right now. Mike?
Well, I tell you what, Stan and Ruth, you wonder how they have any voices left after 2 straight games of absolutely screaming, but just listen to this. It's absolutely wild once again on the streets of downtown Minneapolis. This has been going on ever since the game ended, about 15-20 minutes now. They've been yelling, sweep, sweep, sweep. They've been honking their horns at the cars on the street. They've been waving hankies. They've been giving high fives out here to complete strangers. I remember New Year's Eves like this that weren't quite this loud or quite this boisterous. It's really something else. Tell you what, but long before this madness started, at the start of the game tonight, we discovered something else out here, that people were coming out here even if they didn't have tickets and didn't expect to get any.
The happy people with tickets were dancing all around them, and it didn't matter to people like these sisters-in-law from Bloomington. They were just happy to be here, period.
We didn't have tickets, knew there wasn't a chance to get them, so we came out just to see what's going on around the Dome.
It's been really interesting. We've seen a lot of interesting people.
People like Brian Schultz of Minneapolis, who didn't have tickets either. But here he was on his 26th birthday, walking around in his Twins uniform in a special birthday present to himself.
Just to get in with the guys from with the fans. It's great.
It seemed great to these 5 students from New Richmond, Wisconsin, too, who propped up some lawn chairs outside the gate and watched the game on TV. From here, you can kind of hear the crowd and kind of hear the organ, and it's almost like being there.
In years from now, we can tell our kids that we went to the World Series.
But you aren't actually inside.
But we're outside, and that's close enough. That's as close as we can get.
Our spirits keep us warm.
While police moved them for their own safety across the street, which is a good idea, as you can tell, again, by the noise of this crowd. They're still spilling out of the Metrodome, still as boisterous as ever. Let's go back to you, Stan and Ruth.
Yep, they get the good vibes right through the walls.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, Mike.
Sweet. Thank you, Mike. You know, even if you couldn't get a ticket to see the game tonight, fans did the next best thing. They watched the game on TV. The bars, the restaurants, even the shopping malls had the television sets all tuned to ABC Sports for this Twins-Cardinal matchup.
And all that intense watching and excitement and tension has worked up tremendous appetites around these parts. People are hungry, and Pat Milan is live right now at one restaurant where they have been trying heroically to keep their supply up with the demand. Pat?
Well, Stan, you're looking at the poor folks who've had to work on a night when everyone else is celebrating. Baseball in the Twin Cities apparently goes very well with pizza, because we can tell you here that at Devani's on Riverside, they are doing record-breaking business tonight. As a matter of fact, as you might have guessed, most of the pizzas are delivered because no one wanted to stray far from the television set during the game. And Kevin McGraw says it's been a fun night delivering pizza, but he admits the game has led to some confusion.
Especially when something good happens, I go down the wrong street and lose directions on the house. But most people understand. They said to me, it's too bad you have to work on a World Series night, and they usually reach for another dollar bill.
Now we can tell you that they had that fast wave as the game was going, and now here comes the second crush. The fans from the Metrodome are coming right down and heading into Devani, so they're getting ready to start it all over again. Stan and Ruth?
Pat, I'm glad to see you survived this report better than last night's. Pat took a beer bottle to the head last night. This time, the worst it could have been was a pepperoni stick.
Try to stay in a safer location.
We will, yes, thanks, Pat. We will be back here in just a moment with a message from one Twins fan to another.
Plus, we are going to have the rest of the day's non-Twins news. And in this Sunday's Vital Signs, Dr. Michael Breen tells us if it's healthy to be a Twins fan inside the dome. Stay tuned.
Today's ideas, today's money-saving prices. That's Snyder's, your old corner drugstore.
Save $1.50 on the 4-pack of GE soft white light bulbs with instant rebate just $1.99. Tuffy's trash bags are specially priced. After rebate, get 2 for $4. You save $5.98. Save 25% on any Neutrogena item in stock. Choose from Snyder's large assortment.
Snyder's, the old corner drugstore for today. You hear the thunder, the call of the road.
Get on a new 88 at your Greater Metropolitan Pontiac dealers. Grand Am, Pontiac's hottest and one of America's best-selling cars. Le Mans, amazing value with prices starting at just $59.95. See all the new 88 Pontiacs now at your Greater Metropolitan Pontiac dealers. They will move you.
Do men make passes at women who wear glasses? You bet they do. If the women know where to shop. Dueling Optical. Their style and selection. Designer frames to contact lenses. Professional consultants who care. And affordability.
With eyeglass purchase, receive a free pair of eyeglasses or daily wear contact lenses.
So remember, buy your eyewear at Dueling and never, no, never answer the phone on the first ring.
Budget Power, the home improvement expert, brings you store-wide savings during the Sale-a-thon sale. From space-saving mini units to deluxe contemporary designs, Citamar has a pedestal lab styled for you. All Reliance energy-efficient water heaters with exclusive Stay Clean features are on sale. Save on Max Bond, a premium quality panel foam and construction adhesive. Step up to Hyde, the leader in drywall tools, the hardest working, longest lasting tool in its field. Shop the Sale-a-thon sale at Budget Power, the home improvement expert.
A look again live at the streets outside the Metrodome as 55,000 plus fans head home, and they head home happy. Ruth?
And happiest of all, that Twins team that put so much magic in the air here tonight.
Lots more magic to come, I think. The truly desperate Minnesota Twins fans were posted. They had situated themselves out here earlier today in a frantic search for tickets for game number 2 tonight. Now, many carried signs letting it be known to all they were in serious need of tickets. Some paid as much as $350 to get into today's game. Others, not willing to pay as much, wandered around the stadium in hopes of getting, well, the right price.
They're going for $250 also.
How much are you willing to pay at this point?
Just $75 a piece and no more.
Because you need 3.
Because I need 3. I have a family here.
Issue a handful of citations to a number of people who were caught in the act of scalping. Last night they cited about 5 scalpers who again were caught in the act.
You know, there is hardly a person in Minnesota who has not come down with a case of Twins fever, but that's only one of the medical conditions that can actually strike a Twins fan. In tonight's Vital Signs, Dr. Michael Breen reports those conditions are real. However, they are less of a threat than the St. Louis Cardinals.
You can spend 3 hours sitting near the speakers at a rock concert, or you can spend 3 hours at a World Series game at the Metrodome. The noise levels at both are about the same, and to prove it, we brought a decibel meter to measure just how loud the fans got at last night's game. The meter peaked at about 108 decibels. Now, don't worry. 108 decibels won't cause long-term hearing problems. What can it cause?
Some people are going to feel like you have cotton in your ears. You go home and, you know, your ears just don't feel clear. Other people are going to have ringing in their ears.
That ringing almost always goes away with time, but be prepared. The ringing may not start until several days after you leave the game. And then there's another result of all that noise. What I call Metrodome laryngitis.
Laryngitis!
How's your voice right now?
It's awesome. It's hurting. Flattened. It's awesome.
After a game, the size of your swollen vocal cords is also awesome. Most people will gargle for their hoarseness and laryngitis, but don't expect gargling to help.
Basically, it's an inflammation that's in the vocal cords. And when you gargle, that fluid really doesn't get down that far.
The only cure? A few days of talking as little and as softly as possible. Rest and a mild pain reliever is also the cure for what I call Homer Hanky wrist and Homer Hanky elbow. In fact, no matter what your problem, if you're a Twins fan, your prognosis is excellent. For the Eyewitness News Update, I'm Dr. Michael Breen.
And Vicki Little of Robbinsdale called us earlier tonight to give us a report on her husband, Johnny. Now, Johnny had tickets to these World Series games, but Johnny had a heart attack the other night. He's resting comfortably in the hospital this evening. And Johnny, if you're watching, we have a couple of messages to pass along to you. First of all, your wife wants you to know she loves you very much, says you are doing fine, and boy, so are your twins, aren't they?
Yeah. Right now, let's go back to the KSTP studios where Angela Astor and Mark Sapelza have the rest of the day's news. Mark and Angela?
Thank you, Stan and Ruth. Now tonight's other news, good news for First Lady Nancy Reagan.
Doctors today confirmed that the First Lady's breast cancer had not spread. They went on to predict complete recovery following yesterday's removal of Mrs. Reagan's left breast. Meanwhile, the president asked his staff to keep his schedule light so he can visit his wife. He did so this morning with a gift.
I got a date with a girl out of Bethesda.
Mrs. Reagan is reported up and about and recovering remarkably well. Meanwhile, the vice president and Mrs. Bush made a detour from the campaign trail to visit the toddler rescued from a well in Midland, Texas. The Bushes visited 18-month-old Jessica McClure in her hospital room. Doctors say color is returning to Jessica's toes on her right foot. That could mean amputation would not be necessary.
A source says President Reagan called congressional leaders to the White House tonight, hours after he said he made a decision on how to respond to Iran's missile attack against an American flag tanker. In the meantime, Newsweek is saying Mr. Reagan instructed his national security aides that any military strike against Iran should be modeled on our raid against Libya. Leading our news from around the world, as tensions increase in the Persian Gulf, 4 U.S. Navy warships are reportedly headed to the region. Meanwhile, the supertanker that struck a mine during the first U.S. escort of reflagged tankers is back on duty. In Israel, Secretary of State George Shultz indirectly chided Prime Minister Shamir to take some risks in a search for peace. The plane that West German teenager Matthias Roos flew into Red Square left the Soviet Union today. The plane will be flown to Munich to be on display in the middle of the city. Roos is serving 4 years in a labor camp. West German authorities have appealed for his release. In the skies over Irvine, California today, 2 planes nearly collided. Authorities report an American Airlines jet was climbing directly into the path of a private plane. An air traffic controller steered the pilots clear of disaster.
The Chisago County Sheriff's Office says one of its deputies was shot tonight in the line of duty. There are few details available, but a dispatcher for the Sheriff's Office says the officer is alive and they're searching for a suspect. The deputy sheriff was shot late tonight near Rush City in Chisago County. In a move the American Medical Association thinks is a first, Methodist Hospital has paid $2.5 million to Park Nicollet Medical Center to refer patients to the hospital. This tonight from the Star Tribune. The newspaper quotes experts like Professor Doug Wallace of the College of St. Catherine as saying the deal raises ethical questions. The president of the Methodist Hospital says referrals are needed due to shrinking patient numbers.
A St. Paul man is expected to be charged tomorrow in the death of a Lakeland woman who'd been the subject of a widespread search. The body of Diane Larson was found last week in Burnett County, Wisconsin. A bullet wound to the head was discovered. Autopsy results are also expected tomorrow. Tonight, the Guardian Angels are on the lookout for ways to stop crime. Earlier, they held a get-together to commemorate their first year on the job in Minneapolis. They also inducted another class to their ranks. The Angels say they're looking into creating a St. Paul chapter. We're going to go back to the Metrodome right now where Joe Schmidt is standing by with Bert Blyleven.
Tonight's winning pitcher.
Right, and what a game he did pitch. Bert Blyleven pitched 7 dandy innings, but stands with us live right now. Bert, the World Series, and you put out your World Series best today.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I give a lot of credit to my defense, and the offense scored the runs I needed.
Smitty, you're here. I know you got a question for your fellow pitcher.
Bert, it seemed like early in the game that they were looking for your curveball, and you were able to slip some nice fastballs by him. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they were. You know, you get so many scouting reports, and I know that they did the same thing. You know, they watched me probably pitch the last couple times out, and they see how I throw, and I think sometimes they were, especially Coleman, say to start off the game. I think he was looking for the breaking ball when I ended up striking him out, and it surprised him. And then from there on, things got good for me.
How important is this game as far as Les Straker's concerned? It seems like this game's going to take a little pressure off of him, us going down there two games to 0.
I think it takes some pressure off him, but Les has to go out there and just pitch his ball game. You know, even if the series is 1-1, Les still has to go out there and pitch. And as long as we can get 6, 7, 8 good innings out of Les, you know, hopefully he'll pitch a shutout.
Bert, what about it? Were you extremely pumped up for the series here, more so than maybe the playoffs?
Well, if you can't get pumped up for a World Series, you can't get pumped up for anything. I just tried to go as hard as I could, as long as I could, and you know, Juan Berenguer hadn't pitched in 4 or 5 days, and Jeff Reardon too, so I'm happy that they got an inning in.
All right, congratulations, Bert Blyleven, the winning pitcher. Bert now 6-0 in playoff and World Series competition. Let's now go back to the studio with Angela and Mark.
You got that right. Dave Dowell standing by as well with 5's first forecast for your work week. And it's that time of year to wonder what's on your pumpkin, besides Twins and cards, that is.
And what are those folks who don't care for baseball doing these days?
Come on and feel the heartbeat. Thunder is the heartbeat.
88 S10 4x4. The all-new 88 full-size 4x4. Their Chevy Thunder. Price